Well, hi everyone. My name is Santa Bruce, and I have two little elves who are helping me today. Teagan, age 6. Say hi, Teagan. There's Teagan. And Gillian is age 17. Did I get that right? Are you 17, Gillian?
No.
How old are you?
7.
I must have wrote it down wrong. I put a 1 in front of the 7. That's my fault. Okay, so hang on a second. I'm going to share the screen with everybody. And Gillian, what are we reading today?
The true story of Inky and Pinky.
Oh, thank you very much. My elves are doing their job. And Gillian, did you know that Inky is a superhero?
No.
You didn't know that?
No.
Well, he is. And Teagan, he's a superhero, but his superpower isn't that he's faster than a locomotive. It's not that he can jump over tall buildings. It's not that he can make himself invisible. His superpower is that he can make people happy. Is that a good superpower to have?
Yeah.
I think so too, except in this story, everybody is happy except for Inky. So we're going to start now. The true story of Inky, Pinky, and the troublesome tattoos. This is the true story of Inky, Pinky, and the troublesome tattoos. It's about a whole group of children, and their first names are Inky, Pinky, Dinky, Kinky, Blinky, Finky, Hinky, Linky, Minky, Sinky. Sometimes I say Stinky instead of Sinky. Tinky, Winky, and Zinky. Can you remember all those names?
No.
I don't think so. Me neither, by the way. So Inky is a boy about 10 years old when we first meet him. Here he is. And he has a special gift, as I talked to you about. He's a superhero, and he can make people happy by first touching them with his index finger. But there's a problem, girls. Every time he touches somebody with his index finger, he makes them happy, which is good for them, but it also leaves behind a little Inky tattoo, okay? So every time he wants to make somebody happy, he touches them, and as a result, he leaves behind a little tattoo, which is a circle with an eye in it. And he's touched this person 3 times. Can you see that here? Inky, Inky, Inky tattoos 3 times, right? So that's what he does. All right, let's talk about, let's get on the next page. Many of his friends have already had lots and lots of small Inky tattoos, and some have started telling Inky, no, don't touch me again, I'm happy, see? Now, Inky is trying to make friends happy by talking to them instead of touching them or tattooing them. And the other day, there was a problem that came up. This is Hinky. He's a frizzy-haired boy. He's got frizzy hair. And Hinky and Finky were arguing. This guy down here, can you see what this guy down here? This is Finky. He is a redhead. And he's mad at Hinky. And why is he mad? Because Hinky broke his fishing rod. And Finky says, I'm going to tell my parents on you. Hinky replies, I only just borrowed it. Yeah, but now it's busted, so I can't catch any more fish. Then Finky ran home to tell his parents. There's Finky's mom and dad on the screen. But on the way, Finky met up with his little friend, Dinky. Finky told Dinky what was up after Dinky greeted him like this, what's up? And so instead of telling the adults in their world about what Hinky did, they hatched a plot together. Teagan, has anybody ever broken one of your toys? What about you, Gillian? If somebody broke your toy, would you be mad at them? Yeah, there you go. So anyway, so Finky and Dinky decide to get even. Teensy Dinky is going to sneak into Hinky's home and steal Hinky's video game console. No more video games for Hinky until he buys Finky another fishing rod. And Dinky, this is Dinky down here, is so small he can get in practically anywhere. And then they laugh, hee, 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 hee. Do you know what Finky's favorite animal is? Do you think it's a dog, a cat, or a rat?
Rat.
I think so too. You're going to have to ask your mom and dad why it might be his favorite animal. I can't tell you that. You'll have to ask Mom and Dad later. When Inky found out what was going on, what did he do? Did he call all the parents? Did he get the kids to talk it out? Or did he tell the teacher? What would you do, Gillian? Would you tell your parents? Would you get your friends together and talk about it? Or would you tell your teacher?
I would first try talking about it. If it doesn't work, get an adult.
Yeah, I think that's what it is what Inky is going to suggest. Inky said, Dinky, you go home right now and get Hinky's video game console. Right now. Didn't your mom and dad ever tell you 2 wrongs don't make a right? Jillian, did you ever hear that? 2 wrongs don't make a right? No?
No.
I think mom and dad told you that. And then Dinky says, 2 wrongs make a right, not understanding. No, silly. Do 2 rights make a wrong? No. Look, it was wrong for Hinky to take Finky's fishing rod without his permission, and it was wrong to return it busted. And it was wrong not to buy Finky a new one. But that doesn't mean you could sneak into Hinky's house and steal his video game console. You could go to jail for that. I don't want to go to prison, replied Dinky. So he went straight home and got Hinky's console and gave it back. Later on the same day, Inky tells the boys this. Hinky, you have to promise me one thing. What's that? You have to promise to buy Finky a new fishing rod. Because if you break something, you got to pay for it. How come? And so Inky decides to tell the story of Jack Spriggans and the Enchanted Bean. Nobody knows what Jack Spriggans and the Enchanted Bean is, but a lot of people know the story as Jack and the Beanstalk. Do you guys know the story of Jack and the Beanstalk?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. So this is the story that Inky decides to tell because he has a point to make. Oh, they all exclaim, except Finky, who says, duh. Okay, so this is Inky telling the story of Jack and the Beanstalk. See, Jack was on his way to the local farmer's market to trade milk from his widowed mom's cow for food for their dinner. But on his way there, he met a fast-talking man. So Jack exchanged his cow for some worthless magic beans. When he got home, his mom was furious. And the silly boy, and she was mad at her son, and she threw those useless beans out the window, saying, that cow was our only source of milk. Now what are we going to do? No more milk. So Jack went to bed that night without any supper, but in the morning, a great big beanstalk had grown up all the way to the sky. Over the next few days, Jack, being a curious boy, he climbed that beanstalk 3 times. On his first visit, Jack stole a bag of coins from a sleeping giant. On his next visit, he stole a goose that lays golden eggs. And on his last one, he stole a harp that plays music itself. And then the giant wakes up. Then the giant says something. Do you remember what he says when he discovers that Jack is there?
I have a guess.
Okay. Does it start like this? Fee, fi, fo, fum?
Yeah. I
All right.
smell blood with English
There
man.
you go.
Fiber be heated. I'll grind his bones to make my bread.
All right, Teagan, thank you. All right, so I'm going to keep going now. Good for you. Only this time, Inky continues, the scary giant decides to follow Jack down the beanstalk, leaving his castle in the sky behind. Jack is racing down the beanstalk just ahead of an irritated ogre. That means a very angry ogre. And he calls out to his poor mother, Mom, Mom, get the axe, get the axe. When he reaches their pitiful farm, which means a really poor farm, Jack grabs the axe from his mom and proceeds to
cut it down.
You got it. He cuts it down, and the giant falls down to his death.
Yeah.
Kablooey, says Inky. Well, that's the end of the giant, but not Jack and his mother, who live happily ever after with all the gold they could ever want, plus some fine music. So what lessons did we learn from that story? Does it tell you that crime pays? Yeah. If you think about that, Jack was a thief. Now, it's true he stole from a giant and gave it to his poor mother, but still he was stealing. And is stealing good or bad, guys?
Bad.
Bad. All right. So he stole from a rich and cruel giant and gave it to his poor mom. It still doesn't make it right. Stealing is stealing, Inky says. So Inky turns to Finky and says, you are going to buy a new fishing rod. Or what? Inky says. Inky and the rest of the children don't say anything. They all just stare at Inky like this. Now, when people stare at you like that, does that make you embarrassed?
A bit.
A bit, exactly. Okay, he says. All right, I'll do it. I will go and buy a new fishing rod and replace the one that I broke. And so Inky says, okay, everybody, shake hands. And everybody shakes hands except for Inky. Now, why does Inky not shake hands?
Because of the tattoo.
Because of the tattoos. Nobody wants any more tattoos. I don't think your mom and dad would like you, Gillian, or Teagan to have lots of tattoos. You know, I have 5 children and 3 grandchildren, and I don't want them to have lots of tattoos either. So everybody in this story is happy except Inky. And that's because Inky has decided he can never have a special friend of his own. I mean, what girl would ever want to be covered in Inky tattoos? So everybody is happy except for Inky. Until one day he meets this little girl here. And what is her name, Gillian?
Pinky.
Yeah, he meets Pinky. All right. And he says to Pinky, why are you sad? Because the other girls pick on me. You see, Pinky likes arithmetic and science and stuff like that. She's a mathlete, and she has joined a mathematics club where she's the only girl. And other girls say mean things to her in the schoolyard, like, want to hear a good joke? Your life, ha ha. When Inky meets her at a math competition, Inky is there to cheer on his school's squad, of course, which includes Pinky. He can see how unhappy she is. He asks her afterwards, how come? I don't have any friends. No one likes me, says Pinky. I can help, says Inky. How? By being your friend, he says. So over the next few months, Inky and Pinky become fast amigos. Do you know what an amigo is?
A friend.
There you go. They do everything together. Inky goes to her competitions. Pinky helps Inky with his homework. One day, Pinky goes to hold Inky's hand, and Inky pulls his hand back like he's a cobra snake. And then Pinky says, see, you don't like me either. That's not it at all. Why didn't Inky want to hold Pinky's hand?
Because of the tattoo.
Because of the tattoos. There's those darn tattoos again. I like you a lot, Pinky. It's just that I can't touch anyone without making them happy. What's wrong with that, asks Pinky. Don't you want me to be happy? You don't understand. Every time I touch somebody, I leave behind an Inky tattoo. That's a big piece of crapola, says Pinky. So he lightly brushes her hand like this with his index finger, expecting to see an Inky tattoo. But when he does that, nothing happens. He does it again and again and again, and still nothing happens. No matter how many times he does it, there's no Inky tattoos. Hooray, shouts Inky. Get milk or die crying, replies Pinky angrily, thinking that Inky never wants her to be happy. Why would he lie to me like that? Why would he poke me to see if I'm listening? How annoying. At that moment, friends arrive on the scene. All of them. Do you remember their names? Do you remember any of the names? Gillian, you try first. What are some of the names?
Dinky, Inky, Pinky,
Yep.
Pinky, Zinky.
Oh, very good. You're doing better than I would. I'd have to look them up. Anyway, they want to play soccer. And can you see the soccer ball on the screen? Can you see it? It might be very small.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're going to go play soccer because the kids like to play soccer. And sometimes it's called football. This football comes from a country far away. Is it Canada? Is it Australia? Or the United States of America? Do you want to guess?
United States of America.
That's a good guess, but it's even further away than that. Where do you think it is from? Canada or Australia?
Australia.
Yes. You know that they walk upside down in Australia because they're on the other side of the planet. All right, that's not true. If you guessed Australia, good on you, mate. Inky gathers them around and asks each of them to show Pinky that they do in fact have inky tattoos. Dinky, still feeling guilty about taking something that didn't belong to him, even allows Inky to touch him again, rendering yet another inky tattoo. You see, Pinky, everyone I touch gets an inky tattoo except you. Oh, exclaims Pinky. Ah, says everyone else. Then to prove it, Inky touches her cheek, touches her hand, and nothing happens. So Inky and Pinky walk with their friends to the park to play soccer. And guess what? Inky and Pinky hold hands all the way there. Inky and Pinky are fast friends again. So that's the first story of Inky and Pinky and the troublesome tattoos. There'll be more stories coming up. And here are some of the lessons that I think you can learn from this book if you're a child. That 2 wrongs don't make a right. It's better to talk than fight. Don't steal things that don't belong to you. Don't break things that don't belong to you. And there are no shortcuts to happiness. And friends you can trust and people you can count on, getting outside, getting some exercise, being part of a team, and having fun are important, no matter how old you are. I'm 68, and I still like to have fun. So I'm a lot older than you guys. The other thing that you're going to find in this book is a game called Bananas. Pinky invented this game. And this game is a game where if you roll dice and you roll a 4, 5, or 6, you go forward. And if you roll a 1, 2, or 3, you go backwards. It's called Bananas. And so if you get a copy of this book, you can play Bananas. And if you if you ask your dad, he can print out the board and the dice and the little players, and you can play Bananas over Christmas. Now, I got a question for you. This is the last one I'm going to ask. All right, I promise. If you roll a 5 with a dice and a 2, does 5 and a 2 make 7 in this game, or 3?
7.
I would have thought so too, but Gillian, I don't think so. What do you think?
None of them make 7.
See, if you roll a 5, that's a positive number. And you remember Pinky is a mathlete. She knows arithmetic. So a 5 is a positive number. You go forward. But when you roll a 2, you go backwards. So a 5 and a 2 make what?
3.
Exactly. So you go forward 5 and backwards 3. Sorry, you go forward 5 and backwards 2. So you're actually going forward only 3. So it's a kind of a trick to teach kids the power of positive and negative numbers. So are you going to play Bananas over at Christmas time?
Yes.
All right, get Dad and Mom to help you. You have to cut it out. You can make your own dice, and you can cut out all the players, and you can cut out the board, and your dad can blow it up a little bit bigger so you can play, and then you can play. And the rules are in the game, and your dad has a copy of the book. And if you want an actual paper copy of the book, tell Dad to go to Amazon and look it up. The True Tale of Inky, Pinky, and the Troublesome Tattoos. Now, I promised this will be my last question. What do you guys want for Christmas? First, you, Teagan, what do you want for Christmas?
Toby watch.
Oh, wow. And what about you, Gillian? Do you have something special that you want?
Oh, I've got a lot.
Do you know what I want for Christmas?
What?
I want a little tiny ping pong table. It's very small, and it fits almost anywhere. It's only 3 feet wide by 6 feet, and I'm going to challenge my kids and my grandkids and my wife to play ping pong on a mini ping pong table. That's what I'm going to do. So anyway, let's all wave goodbye to the folks out there, and thank you very, very much. Wave goodbye. Thank everybody for watching.
Bye.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
Bye.